Give him a cup.
Yeah. Thank you.
Put a little Douce in there.
What?
No, just playing. Don't put no Douce in there.
What? You had nuts in 98. That's going to be a problem on this show.
Really go to talking then. Spill all the beans.
Well, hell
And
yeah.
another thing.
And I don't care if my wife hid. I didn't like her at first.
Oh, man.
No, we ain't gonna let you do that. Right.
Man,
Get home and them locks changed.
That coat about to be flat.
I didn't hear no fears.
I ain't hear no fizz, and I saw it at the bottom.
Yeah.
How long we going to be sitting?
I mean, about an hour. Probably get some good stuff.
Man, I
About an
probably
hour.
need to use the restroom.
Now?
Or should I? Would I be able, the camera could be on him at one time and I can slide out? No.
Nah, you go ahead to the restaurant. You go ahead.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir.
Simmons say, go to the restaurant. Them decisions you make when you over 40. You gotta make life decisions when you get over 40. That was how long we gonna be sitting. Oh shoot. Yeah. Boy, I'm not ready, boy. When you turn 40, man?
Man, I'm 36.
That ain't what I asked you.
I'm 36, so I got 4 years.
You just say that. You don't want to face it, huh?
Nah, I mean, I can face it. I'm just saying. 36, give you the answer. October 31st.
Sheesh.
I'll be 37.
Man. That's funny. How long we gonna be sitting?
Yeah, well,
I need to
that
know.
sermon too long, he excused himself.
Man, what? I'm getting ready to close. For real, for real. Oh, y'all thought I was playing. It ever been a drought, like nobody came to the altar and you stayed up there and begged people to come?
Not me. Not me.
I know some people that did that.
No, sir.
I don't know what y'all waiting on. Today is your day.
I don't even do that with the offering. None of that stuff. I'm like,
I rarely do altar calls, though.
Yeah, me too.
Just, if you want to make a commitment, holler at us afterwards. We'll sit down and have a real conversation after. Instead of sitting here.
Yep.
Man.
Show
right.
ain't doing it with offering.
No?
Man, because of what you said. I hate hearing people do that. I hate going
about 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds.
That's us.
But ain't nobody gave in 3 months.
Now, you know, hey.
It is what it is, man. Lucky for me, I built and paid off, so
Yeah, we don't have any bills.
Yeah,
We don't owe anybody nothing, so.
But you don't say that from the pulpit. I don't care if y'all give or not.
No, you ain't
straight.
saying that.
But
You just ain't gonna
made up
beat
their
them over the
mind.
head. Yeah, they people bound be made up, you know.
You don't want mad money.
Oh no, I watched the service the other day. I watched the dude the other day raise $30,000. I was envying him. While I was sitting out there like,
Oh, during the call?
we bring in $30,000 every 5 months. They brought in $30,000 right there on the spot. No, come on. It's another 10 of y'all. Another 10 of y'all. $1,000.
First Baptist did that like right before the pandemic to help to feed the hungry.
See, but that's different with First Baptist.
Right,
though,
because
you know.
people.
Yeah, the demographic is different. The socioeconomic
Somebody
status
wrote
is different.
Somebody wrote $1 million check.
Yeah,
or something,
yeah,
like,
see.
you know.
Oh, yeah, that's way different.
Yeah.
I have a hard time asking when I know the pandemic is going on anyway.
Oh,
like
yeah,
pandemic
yeah,
going on,
yeah.
people struggling,
It's
losing
different,
jobs,
yeah.
furloughed.
Yeah.
And we asking for.
Yeah, we don't even have our whole congregation back
Yeah,
there
we don't
anyway.
either.
They still on
Oh,
social
wow.
media.
Oh, if you let ours stay, they're gonna stay online.
Oh man,
They're gonna stay online.
I'm afraid that it's gonna be different because people done got comfortable with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just stay online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay online.
Now, I went on and got that vaccine Monday before school started back, boy.
Huh?
I went on and got that vaccine.
Oh yeah, I remember. When you said,
I said, I ain't finna play with these kids, boy. Can't do it. Then tell my they don't got to
Hey.
wear their mask. What?
hey,
I was skeptical at
I'll
first,
call you
I ain't
back.
gonna lie.
I'm about to do a
I'm still
podcast.
skeptical. I ain't on
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
The vaccine
with,
ain't what's going on.
Jermaine
Cause you to be
Reynolds.
safe.
Nah.
But that's what they
So,
pumped
okay.
in you. That's why you did it. They scared the hell out of you. They scared you to do it.
Yeah.
You did it. And that's all it was.
Hey. We'll see what they ain't
Now
gonna
I ain't one of them dogmatic people on the other end that say, you know, if you get the vaccine, you ain't got faith.
Oh,
Yeah, I ain't on that either. You know.
I had to tell somebody worked with us.
Oh,
He was like, y'all walking around here and, you know, y'all supposed to be people of faith and y'all talking about.
oh,
I said, listen,
Lord.
I said, you know, when we drive, we put on our seatbelt, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's showing like, look, that ain't about faith. That's
Yeah.
about common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this episode, welcome back to the outlet, man. Listen, this episode is for those people that talk like that. Like, y'all got all this faith, but y'all still wearing masks. I want the Lord's breath and everybody else's to just breathe on me. Just fall on me, Lord. This episode is also for those people that you be on the phone with, on FaceTime with, and they get a call and they say, hold on, like the phone ain't finna hang up. Because that just happened to me earlier.
Not to everybody, bro.
For real?
Oh yeah. Hold on, real quick.
Like, you know it's finna hang
you know
up.
it's gonna hang up. Instead of just saying, "I'll call you right
Yeah,
back,"
bro.
Yeah. Be like, "Hold on, real quick."
And
You can call them right back. Then they don't want to answer the phone. They feelings.
Hey, bro,
Up on them.
I got a rule. If I call and you don't answer, when you call me back, I can't answer.
Oh, best. Yeah,
I can't
I'm
answer.
with you on that. I can ride with you on that.
I can't answer. I'm sorry. But yeah, man, we back in the building. Episode number 7. It's a beautiful thing we got happening today. Some black brothers in the building. Got my boy B Holmes as usual. My boy Jermaine. And John Simmons is in the building. You can't just say John.
That name sounds
Can't just
powerful.
say Simmons. Yeah, man.
John Simmons.
You gotta say it all together. So Jermaine, let's start with you, man. What you do? Who are you? Where you from? All that good stuff.
I pastor here in Central Florida area, Eatonville. Coach high school basketball, Geneva School. Coached at the Michael Jordan Flight School for a little bit before he started doing it. 2 beautiful kids. 5-year-old son, 3-year-old daughter. Had a beautiful wife who died last year, June 28th, 2020. Grew up in Orlando, cross town.
What that mean?
Jackson
'Cause
Street.
I've been here 10 years, still don't know what that means.
Is
it cross town?
You ain't gotta know. If you don't know, you
All
ain't
right,
gonna know. All right. We grew up across town.
Hey, this is neighborhood preacher.
That's what it is. That's it, man. I don't know what else you want to know.
Oh, that's it. Oh, that's good. Even cross town. You from this side of town, whatever this is. Simmons, talk to the people, man.
John Simmons, been a pastor for 16 years, St. Mary Missionary Baptist Church, Taft. Been an educator 25 years. I did 20 years at Walker Middle School, last 6 years at Oak Ridge High School. I am from Greenville, South Carolina. I am a Gamecock to the core.
Oh man, that's unfortunate.
All SEC in here though.
Went there, met my wife there, loved the school. I'm a member of Mega South Phi, played Spring 92 as an undergraduate at University of South Carolina. Very happy to pledge there, great chapter. I've been married 22 years to Melanie Simmons. She's also a Delta, and she pledged undergrad at University of South Carolina 94. We have 2 children, and we lost our son 3 months ago, May 6th. He died. He just completed his sophomore year at LSU in Baton Rouge, and he was out playing basketball with his friends, and he collapsed at the rec center and died at 20 years old. The coroners said he had a enlarged heart with a bad valve, and it's called sudden cardiac arrest in young people, and we are still right now just devastated.
Yeah.
It's still fresh. Funeral was on May 22nd. We had it at the Life Church on Powers. I did the eulogy, and just people everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was just still broken.
Of course.
Still broken.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mindset that I was in, kind of putting this episode together to get us to, keep it all the way 100 with people on how much of a struggle this has been to transition from the losses that we've taken. And I think it's a major key just for us to be 4 black men from, you know, different backgrounds or whatever, like being able just to discuss it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some heavy stuff that we done dealt with, man.
Yeah.
And the interesting part while you were saying that, what I was thinking about was the fact that God didn't just allow a sudden thing to just happen. Like in your case, because I remember you mentioning your line brother passing like the day after you preached the eulogy, and then you had to go preach at his the next week.
I should have added that too. Like,
dude,
he came to be with me. He was there from Thursday to Sunday, and he never made it back to his family. So he died in Georgia, going back to South Carolina. 18-wheeler killed him, and he left behind a 3-year-old son. And so last weekend I was in Atlanta with my line brothers and chapter brothers, and his family brought his son up to Atlanta. So I was able to spend time with his fiance and his sister and his son. But it's been tragic,
man.
Just tragic. I mean, to get that call the next day, and then his family have to say, you know, and they were just very honest. I say, listen, we know you just did your eulogy for your son, but we have to ask you to do rods. You know, and so got on the plane, flew, and that was the thing about the whole process. Even with my son, when he died, my wife and daughter and I, we went out we had to get a flight that day. I was at Oak Ridge when I got the call, almost
after school, right?
After school, after school. I was with our school resource officer, who's a very good friend of mine, Richard Febo, and we was running the track every day, and I had lost this weight working out with him and Kenny Coutain after school, and I had just changed and got the call that he had collapsed and he didn't have a pulse, and I got there, but we had to get on the plane, and then Dean Anderson and Coach Norris was at my house right before we left, but we had to get on the plane, get to Baton Rouge, and the bad thing too was we stayed in Baton Rouge a week away from everybody, and that made it even more difficult because it took them that long to do the autopsy.
Wow.
And we were in the city, we didn't know anybody, you know, and just away from our family and friends for a long period of time. And then so we was able to meet the pastor there that he attended church with, Pastor Mount Pleasant, J. Roy Morrison, called him and told him Khalil was coming up to LSU, and Khalil started going to that church. But then when Rod died, kind of did the same thing. I had to go to South Carolina, stay with my father a couple of days, but then I kind of needed to be alone. So I stayed in a hotel. That was kind of different too. It's just like when these tragedies happened, I was kind of away from everybody. But it's been a rough 3 months. You know, been a rough go.
Boy. So Brandon actually just moved here from Atlanta. How long, Mark? 2 months?
2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was my point guard in high school.
Okay.
You know, I made him look really good in high school.
Vice versa.
No, just one way. But yeah, no, he and he can probably share his story a little bit too, but life in itself is hard already, you know, and I've finally gotten in a space to where I'm comfortable enough to be honest with God about, like, hey man, that was messed up. You know what I'm saying? And I was so afraid to feel that way. I think even with my dad, losing him at 17, that I was in denial really of what had happened, but I assumed I need to be strong and keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this ain't no time to be like down and out about it. Like, what would my dad want me to keep doing? Let's keep working, keep being productive. God got him. Let's keep it moving. Like, and I think the error in that is us truly not spending enough time like with our emotions. Like we ignore them a lot of times because that's just how we was raised. Like that's for the women. Like don't do that. And so he's actually his testimony kind of still going. If you wanna just kind of tell what your situation been like.
Yeah, man, pretty much moved here from Atlanta. Started off in Montgomery, Alabama. One thing about it, I truly believe God don't make no mistakes. I think everything happened for a reason. From Montgomery, man, up and moved to Atlanta. Before I moved to Atlanta, man, I had a girl, and pretty much, man, she pretty much changed my life. Man, she came out, she wasn't breathing.
His daughter.
Yeah, my daughter. My daughter. Yeah, my daughter came out not breathing, severe brain injuries. Later diagnosed with CP, and that just, that just brought something else in me. I can hear y'all guys' story, and I can kind of embrace it and feel, because I still got a part of her. And just the fact of, just waking up every morning and just being able to wake up in my right mind, being able to move all my limbs, and, just to be able to, even think to get out of bed. Like, I'm forever grateful. Like, my life changed because of that. And, like he said, it's still going. Like, it's just amazing how, just God just put us in this place to be working side by side together. Just to hear the story as far as how we connected from, reconnecting from when he was back in Birmingham and I was in Atlanta. He used to come to do work for me. With him coming to do work for me, I think October. We stayed real close. I reached out to him. It was funny. I reached out to him on 2K, and it was because I kind of could, relate to what his son went through. And I wanted to kind of just be an outlet so he can share and tell me about it and, just get some things off his chest. And it started from that. We started pretty much just bagging each other up and just being there for him for the most part. Started back working together probably late October, early October. October 10th came, his son passed. I remember the day he hit me up and he said, man, I'm finna move back to Orlando. I said, look, that's the plan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with you. If you need me, I'm here for you. With them moving back to Orlando, possibly like January, man, we got to call my wife. She's in the military. They said we was going to New Jersey. And so, I hit him up. I told him, I said, yeah, man, we going to New Jersey. He's like, man, that's nothing. I can get a plane ticket. I can come up there anytime. And he was like, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That went by. That fell by the wayside. They called us probably about 6 days after. Was like, nah, New Jersey got canceled. Like, we're going to have to find somewhere else for you guys to go. And we're going to have to find somewhere in the hurry because the orders are up. And so, just by God's grace, man, by February, they called us and it was like, look, we got 2 places you can go. Going to Texas or Florida. And I was like, Florida? Like, what part of Florida? They said Orlando. We're here today, yeah.
Crazy.
Now, is your daughter still living?
Yeah, she's still living.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good.
And to watch him, like, endure, that junk is just encouraging, man, because she a handful.
She a handful,
It's a lot to care for, and I used to always say this, like, dealing with a sick child is like so demanding. But then I think about your story, bro, like that called for you to, at one point in time, y'all left the country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a smooth just transition into a whole different like country to have to adapt to, like, or adjust to something different in terms of what the culture was like over there, and just, y'all ain't never did this before, so it's like, is this gonna work? Is it not gonna work? I still want to hold on to faith and trust God through this. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, like I wanted us to come here and just kind of share our thoughts in regards to just how we've been able to navigate through life and not just give up, throw in the towel, still be willing to serve. Like these jokers just got done preaching this morning, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand.
I was in a desperate situation. I think when you're desperate, you're willing to do whatever. And when I look at this woman that I was supposed to protect, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
So that was the hardest part for me as a husband. I've always prided myself on being the priest, the provider, and the protector. But I can't. Like, and so I'm watching her deal with this. The least I can do is be there, though.
Right.
So there was never a doctor's appointment that she went to that I wasn't there. Like, I don't care if it was a specialist or something minute. I was at everything.
Yeah.
I drove her everywhere. And so when we were looking at the treatments that we wanted to do, we ended up going out the country, and it was difficult. But the crazy thing is, when we went out of town, man, like, it's like we developed so many relationships with people because where we were, the particular hospital that we were, they were all Catholics. So they had never really read the Bible for themselves. They're so used to people reading it for them. And so I'm coming to them and talking to them in a little hospital room. And the crazy thing is, I ain't want to talk. Like, so at this point, I'm mad with God.
Dang, I was the same way.
Like, I'm mad with God.
Yeah.
So I make no bones about it. So a lot of people hide their emotions. A lot of people deal with them. I was like the kid that I want you to know I'm mad with you. Like, I want you to know I ain't dealing with you now. Not that I lost my faith or anything, but I'm just mad at you as a father that you didn't intervene and do what I thought you should do in this situation. So when we out the country in Mexico, I'm like I don't want to preach, I don't want to pray, I don't want to do none of that stuff. And so, but Michelle is the opposite. Michelle is like, while we're going through this, we might as well let our light shine. And I'm like, cuz I ain't no light shining. Like, the only light that I need for him to shine is to touch your body and get rid of this cancer.
Yeah, bro.
So Michelle messed around and told the people, hey, listen, if y'all ever want somebody to speak, my husband will be willing to do it. And so the next morning, that night, she said, hey, yo, they're going to have a church service here for the first time ever at the hospital. And I said, oh, cool beans, you going? She was like, yeah. I said, all right, I'm probably not going. She was like, well, you got to go. I was like, why I got to go? She was like, because you preaching. And I'm like, cuz, like, come on, man. So, like, it was like Michelle, like, I kid you not, she was forcing me to get out of this sunken place. Even on Michelle's last week of life, bro, Michelle FaceTimed me the day before she passed. And I was at the church with a group of pastors praying. And I answered the phone crying. And she said, hey, what you crying for? And I said, what you mean what I'm crying for? Like, you sitting up in the hospital, I'm here thinking about everything. She said, Jermaine, stop crying. Like, God got me. And I'm like, cuz, I'm glad he got you. Because he ain't got me right now. So I'm like, my brain is spiraling. I remember taking her to the restroom later that night because I ended up getting her from the hospital. And as we was walking out the restroom, I asked her, I said, yo, Michelle, I said, real talk, this being you, are you mad at God? Like, are you angry? And she said, no. She said, I don't like the situation that I'm in. By this time, physically, she don't look the same. She don't deteriorate physically. She's like, I don't like the situation I'm in, but I'm not mad at God. She's like, why? I said, because I am. And then I just started crying. I'm boo-hoo crying. I'm like, I'm mad at him because I know he got the ability.
Right. But he just
ain't doing nothing.
Man.
Like, and out of all the people to do something for, I feel like this is a prime example for him to put his glory on display. Go ahead and do something for her. Like, come on, we got little kids. Like, she ain't finna go out like this. Yeah. Like, if she gonna go out differently.
Yeah.
Like, we don't dictate that, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, if she gonna go out, she ain't finna go out like this.
Yeah.
And Michelle looked at me and she said, hey, don't spend your time mad at God. God didn't do this to me. Wow. He's allowed it to happen, but he didn't do this to me. Man, I wanted to be mad at her, like, why for being Gucci with him. I'm like, so you still cool with him?
Yeah.
And she's like, hey man, like, God didn't do this to me. And then she said, if I live, I get to spend time with you and the kids. If I die, I get to go be with Jesus.
Can't give her up.
And I'm like, and even after she passed, I wrestled with that. The only reason I was able to stand because I can hear her voice in the back of my head, like, hey man, don't be mad at God. But I needed him to know, like, I want him to feel me, like, hey, cause like, I ain't preach for almost a year, and I'm a senior pastor at the church. I ain't preach for almost a year. I ain't go to the church. I ain't want to be a part of the leadership meetings. I ain't want to do Bible study. All I want to do is sit in my room and cry. And if I want to get out the bed, I got out the bed, eat, get something to drink, or get a strong drink, and go back and get in the bed. I ain't, So I wasn't running from him. just wanted to let them know that we weren't seeing eye to eye. Eventually, I humbled myself later on, but that's a process.
It is.
That's
It
a
is.
process. That stuff don't happen overnight.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I think God, He got enough grace to cover us in those moments. And I wish people would really understand, like there's something about being vulnerable or being honest and open with God to that point. It's liberty in that. To try and keep it together and suppress what you really feeling, that'll run you crazy.
Somebody called me and said, "Hey, Pastor, how you doing?" I said, "That's a real question." Like, are you asking me how I'm doing? It's like, well, you know, you got a lot of people watching you, so you got to be able to have faith. And I said, hey, listen, cuz, check this out. I got a lot of people watching me, so I got to let them see the real side of being a human. Yes. I lost the love of my life.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to pray with you.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to pray. First of all, I don't want to talk to you right now. What I need to do is get off the phone and y'all go cover me. Because y'all don't even know what I'm wrestling with right now. My brain is spiraling out of control. I don't even know if I want to even go back here. Yeah. You know? Because so much of it was done with Michelle. Yeah. You know? So it's like, no, like somebody called me one time and said they were upset because I didn't show up to the hospital when their father was sick. And they said, well, you know, you still the pastor. You still got responsibility. Cuz. Wow. Like, you hear some of the craziest stuff when you in this role, but people forget that you go home and you got two little itty bitty kids at home, or a son that was off in college, or a young son or a young daughter. Like, you got a wife, you got bills that you're trying to manage, you got the regular routine of life that you're trying to manage, and then they come to you with their stuff, and they, you know, almost want you to carry their stuff. And I can't carry mine right now, man.
I would say that is so on point about what I've learned in this process is that certain people can get my ear, but I realize the people who really get my ear if they've been through what I've been through.
Yeah.
So when Pastor Dr. J. Roy Morrison called, I take that call. He lost his daughter. Pastor James Wilson lost his daughter. So I'm those are calls I'm going to answer.
That's right.
You know, because I realize people don't know what to say. They literally don't know what to say. I mean, and I appreciate it more when they tell me I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But to go back to the being mad at God part. So my son has passed, and it's still fresh because you know we only in August and as of May. The anger is not there with me. Okay. Because the anger was me being angry with God was in '96. Yeah. So in 1996, I was supposed to move to Orlando right after Labor Day weekend. So I was about 25, and I was supposed to move there this Tuesday, the Tuesday after Labor Day. Labor Day weekend, my 20-year-old brother dies in a car wreck. He leaves behind a 1-year-old daughter. That's when I was partying, drinking heavily in my life, wasn't in church. And so when that happened, I was angry. Yeah. Now I was a little beyond angry. I was done. Yeah. I was done with God. Through. Done with God. You couldn't tell me anything. And the word is numb. Yeah. But that kicked me into depression because me drinking so much, and I drank so much, and I was telling, I think I shared a little bit with you. So I didn't drink till 91, and I haven't drank since 98. Okay. But those 7 years that I did drink, I can count on one hand how many times I wasn't drunk, how many days I wasn't drunk.
That you wasn't?
Yes, in 7 years.
Jeez.
So it was over the top. Wow. And so when my brother died, it went to a whole nother level. Yeah. And I was so done with God. And then my mom, I didn't want to leave my mom, said, you know, I'm supposed to be here in September. and I was gonna stay. And my dad's been pastoring years, grew up in the church, you know, but my faith was done there. And then I wasn't gonna come to Orlando, and then my mom told me, listen, that was your plan, you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
God's gonna take care of me. Came to Orlando, I only knew 2 people here. Came to Orlando, kept my drinking on, cried myself to sleep every night. Had a wreck in December. Coming off a ramp around Kissimmee, trying to get on, and that's what you call that wet ice of Florida ice, where that oil is on the road. Mm-hmm. Not going about 15 miles per hour, but it's wet. And I touched the oil and slide into the wet grass, and I flipped going down a hill, flip over in the car like 5 times. Mm-hmm. Flipping. I tell people I was numb. Stuff flying in the car and everything. I didn't scream once. I didn't nothing because I was numb. I could care less if I lived or died at that time. When the people came down to the bottom of the hill, they opened the door and said, we didn't expect to find anybody alive. I walked away without a scratch. Mm-hmm. Only how I went to the hospital because I had this terrible pain in my groin. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought something had hit me there or something, and they actually told me at the hospital, no, that's because when the crash was happening, your muscles clenched like that. And he said in a few days it's going to go back, it's going to release, but they clenched up like that for impact. Yeah. And so that incident with my brother, I was so angry because this is what I asked God a question. Never forget it. What possible good could come from death? I asked him an open-ended question. And I got the answer years later, and it was my life. And my life changed after that incident because after hitting depression, it was some time where I got back into church. The night I stopped drinking, I had a keg in my bathtub. Wow. And so when this happened with my son, the anger's not there, just the brokenness. Yeah. And what you said, that part is so real about, there's days where I literally don't feel like getting out of bed. Right. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to talk to anybody. Yeah. And my wife is, my heart aches for her. Mm-hmm. For a mother. Yeah. Because
and you automatically know the level of maturity that's there for you. Don't necessarily just morph or transform onto her. And it's,
I feel like she's dealing with the anger part.
Yeah.
You know.
And this Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah. Mother's Day was that Sunday. He died on Thursday. Mother's Day was that Sunday. Oh, we in Baton Rouge on Mother's Day. Oh man. And people don't even know whether to send Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, listen, man. You know, it's just like.
Listen, and I couldn't get it out of my head after we had that conversation. Like the week prior to his son passing, he came to my classroom, and I told you this. He came to my classroom and he was like, "I saw you post on Facebook about your son coding. I had no idea that happened." And I was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "I had to get myself together before I came in here." He's like, "I just couldn't imagine losing my son, man." And then a week later, I'm like, I think Tori called me, and she was like, "Yeah, Khalil just passed away." Then Hurston texted me. I said, "Whoa, wait." I said, "Simmons?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "No way, bro. Like, God, why would you do?" So then it turned into, God, why would you? Yeah, like, why would you do that? Like, this man just came to check on me, let me know him and his wife praying for me and my family. Like, what's up with you, man? Like, like, what is you doing? And I'm like, Mother's Day weekend? Like, what is going on?
And you called me in Orlando. I mean, when I was in Baton Rouge, you called me.
Yeah, I was in Alabama.
And I could feel your anger through the phone.
Listen, man.
Like, he was upset for me. Like, man, God, how could you? And I will never forget you told me, I got a problem with that. Yeah, bro. You know, I got a problem with how this happened because, you know,
I couldn't make it make sense.
Yeah, and we were in there, and he had a class. We in there crying. 2 grown men with tears in our eyes, you know, and having no idea because let me tell you, I was walking somewhere and there was a hunch and just all of a sudden God was like, go see Baker.
Yeah.
Like, I was minding my own business, and it was so strong. You know what I'm saying? Boom, God said, go see him. Sent me in there, hugged on and talked to him.
Yeah.
We in tears, and then little did I know, in a week,
Crazy.
you know, and that was hard. I know people who know that story, you know, and it's just hard for them to hear that. And but once again, you was one of them calls.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that pain. It's a club that no one wants to be part of.
Yeah. And I found myself in the same predicament, just like what you said, and it hit me as you said it because I started thinking about it. I'm the same way. Like I want to talk to people that have been through something similar.
Right.
Like you might want to ask that. Are you mad at God?
Yeah.
I gotta call you back. I gotta talk to you. You don't feel me right now.
Have you ever been mad at him?
Because I think all of us can agree, like it ain't a matter of faith. Like we're like we good. Like we gotta relate, but because we good, that I can be authentically me with how I feel with what's going on, and I don't gotta sugarcoat that. And when I talk to people, like I don't need you to give me the churchy answers.
Because we're not mourning their eternity.
Right. We get it.
We're mourning that they're no longer with us. Right. We're not mourning their eternity.
And we just need to be able to just be affirmed in this moment. Or even if we don't want to be affirmed. Sometimes we don't want nothing. Or we don't know what we want. You know, we just but what we know what we don't want.
Right.
Like we don't tell me, God got you. Like, cause I know that. Like, but that don't help me in this moment. Like in this moment, I'm crying my eyes out. All right, let me just get off the phone. I just need to cry.
I'm gonna get mad.
Yeah, I just need to cry. Or like when you and I get on the phone, we, say some choice words or whatever the case may be, and but it's the release, like as you can get it out, and you can't do that with everybody, but you can do it with people that you know are spiritually mature and people that got a relationship with Christ themselves. Like I know I can be me with you, and you not look at me crazy when you see me pick myself back up and start preaching again, because it's a part of the human process. It's a part of this grief process, and I think so many of us, we've learned to just mask the grief just. And we still had to do it. Like at the end of the day, they still expect you to go to work because you still got a mortgage to pay, you still got health insurance, you still got other kids, still got family, And I think the system is so jacked up because it forces you to get up and just keep on going, and that helps mask everything as opposed to just like take a week, a month, like just I ain't doing nothing. Cry. And yell and cry some more and get into bed and then eventually the Holy Spirit strengthens you. You come up, you get up, and you realize, man, I ain't cried in 2 days. But it's an authentic process that has to take place, and I think we try to force the process on ourselves and on people.
Well, that church talk too, man. It's
I'm so tired.
I'm a I like to think of myself as a sound doctrine preacher.
Yeah.
And so that's how I was trained, everything. And so the church talk, people don't realize is when and they say things that are so
cliche.
It's cliche.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can tell somebody is God needed another angel.
Say it again.
Oh my God.
Okay. First of all, God didn't need another angel. He's already created angels.
That's how you get a bullet in your leg. For real.
And the person that died ain't an angel.
He's not an angel. We don't die and become an angel.
Yeah, they become angels.
Angels know nothing about salvation, as the Bible says. They peer into it because they don't know they were created beings to worship. We don't die and become angels.
Wow.
And so I remember, my wife and I do attend this grief share group at First Baptist Sweetwater. We in the 10th week session of 13 weeks. It's called grief share. My wife one day just said, hey, somebody told me about this. I think we should go. I said, church, First Baptist Sweetwater, we went, met some great people, some lovely people. I just hate the reason why I know them.
Oh.
Because the only reason I know them
through grief.
Yeah.
That's what y'all
Grief.
have.
Yep.
And we are part of the same club that you don't want to be part of.
Right.
And so
Dang.
one of the things about that whole grief share is you in there with other people who've lost, and they've lost spouses, mothers, or it's like 6 out of the 16 have lost children. The rest have lost spouses, and one has lost a mother. And to hear some of the things that has been said to some of them, like one of the ladies told us that somebody told her that God needed another rose in his garden. Like, what? like what? So I appreciate the people who say, look, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, man.
Because don't say stuff like that. But that group has helped, and
Another rose. Golly.
I've been able to connect with. There's another pastor. This is really profound here. I don't understand what it is, but there's another pastor around the corner from me that I can walk to his church. Like literally, it's less than half a mile away.
Yeah.
Walk down the street, make a right, walk down. And
I'm
that's
probably
his church.
drive though.
Yeah. Pastor Anthony Oliver, and Pastor Anthony Oliver, if y'all know, he's lost 6 of his members in the last few months. He lost 5 in the car wreck on Claire Conocoy in April, when he lost his 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren.
Whoa.
In that wreck. And now his wife just died a few weeks ago. So he's lost 6 since April.
It's just him left?
And so I've been in touch with him. We talk because that's that loss, that grief. You talk to the people, and so he came Monday to the grief, and he said he's been trying to come for weeks, but it's like I can't do this, you know. And so he came. So I was happy that he was able to come, but just to have him sit there,
give him that outlet.
Yes.
Brother, when you come in here, take the pastor hat off, take all the other hats off. You're just another man grieving, just like me. Be free to grieve. Matter of fact, if you want to throw stuff, here you go, something to throw. If you want to go in the room and yell, go in there and yell. I'll come and bring you something to drink, something to eat. You know, but you have your moment, and we don't create those moments for each other.
No, we don't, and it's not that, you know, some people mean well.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, but
okay, I can agree with that sometimes. Yeah, you said some people. Okay. Yeah, because somebody prayed over me and said, "Well, I pray God give you a Job kind of faith." Oh no, you don't.
No, you don't know.
I don't want Job.
That type of faith.
I know about Job.
That's sound doctrine.
Yes. You don't know about Job. Get that type of patience.
Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Let me be Philo.
Yes.
Let God work with me.
Man.
With me,
and He'll meet you where you are.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta have that Job type of faith. He can meet you where you are.
Man,
I don't want it.
It's your faith, bro.
I don't want it.
No,
Don't
sir.
need it, don't want it.
And what's good is, at the end of the day, our resolve is still to rest in the peace that like God gives us, in knowing when we leave here, we're gonna go to heaven.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, that's the resolve. So regardless of what happens,
greatest worst case scenario ever.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I die and go to
That's
heaven.
a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And so, it's a good segue. It's a good segue. So, trust God with expectancy or with reverence. Like where's our heart's posture? And I'll say this before y'all answer. So your situation is very different in how Khalil passed away, because you don't see that coming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, he's so far away, so it kind of don't give you a chance to. I mean, I don't. He'll probably agree. I don't think you can ever be prepared. No. But it's just like you kind of can sense this could go another way. In your case, your son is perfectly healthy from
work out every day.
Yeah, like
for years, worked out. He's a gym rat. Well, you know,
dude,
he's a gym rat.
I know.
You know, and
so even in Brandon's case, I'm sure there are times you're like waking up maybe in the middle of the night to make sure your daughter's still breathing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so and that's why I want us to kind of elaborate on it. Like, are we trusting God with expectancy or with reverence? Are we saying, God, I know you can do this, so I want to lean on you pulling me through this situation just like this because I know you can? Or are we saying, God, I want to trust you because you're God, and however this play out is how it play out? So, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or do we need both?
I think sometimes it is both. So when Michelle was here, Michelle was, I'm healed. That's all she spoke. I'm healed, or I'm going to be healed. And so my approach was, we live in a fallen world. You always go theological. We live in a fallen world. These are things that we deal as a result of a fallen world. But God is able, with my personality, I tend to lean more towards the reverence more than the expectancy. Because I always have a difficult time with our thought process when we approach God, because it's always gimme. What can I get? Or God, I do it. Or I know you're gonna do it. And then I have a problem with the people say that if He didn't do it, it's because you didn't have enough faith. Then just all of that type of stuff really rubbed me the wrong way. So when I approach God, even in this season of my life that I'm in right now,
that's what I was going to ask. What's the difference before she passed in now? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So right now, I lean heavily on reverence alone. I don't even think about expecting to get through this season. I tell you what, I got up a couple weeks ago and I realized that I'm a lot better today than I was this time last year. But it ain't because I woke up every day saying, God, I'm expecting you to do this and I need you to do it like this. I'm just
your mindset.
I'm just a part of the process, like the journey.
Yeah.
And sometimes you wake up and you just thankful, like, man, I ain't cried in a whole month, like cool beans. So I lean more towards the reverential part of God, like, cause like whether you do it or not, like, you still deserve the praise, you still deserve the honor. Like, I want you to do it. I believe you can do it. But that's not up to me. Like, that ain't up to me. And so I'm gonna trust in the eternal plan of God at the end of the day. Like, I mean, I like it, but like, I gotta rock with your eternal plan. And so I lean more towards the reverence than the expectancy. Although I don't think it's nothing wrong in and of itself of expecting. I just think how we've taught it and how we use it is almost like God is obligated to us and our will and our needs and our wants, as opposed to Him being God and we being the creatures.
I'm the same way with the reverence. And the best example I can use, the other day, I started having these thoughts about God and why He allowed this to happen and things like that. And what I realized in that conversation with God, I started telling God, you know what? I don't want to be wrong about you. I don't want to be like Job's friends, say things that's not right about your character. That's not who you are. Right. And I don't want to be that God that say you would do something that's not what you would do. Right. And so I start that reverence, feeling like I don't want to be that person to be wrong about you. Right. And so, but it's hard sometimes when you start thinking. I had somebody say today, they told me it was so hard for them because you got so many sons that are not your biological sons. You got sons all over the place, and they literally call you pops, and you got all these sons. Yeah. But God takes my biological. Right. And when I think about, like, when he collapsed on that court, I just remember having a discussion with my wife, saying, she was like, how you doing today? I said, well, I'm reflecting about who God is, and now I just know in my spirit, He could have got him off the court. He could have saved him there. Facts. But God chose not to. And then the eternity side of it, when I start thinking about who God is and what He's done for us, I believe that anybody who gets a glimpse of heaven ain't gonna come back.
They different.
They gone.
Yeah.
You know, and I just believe that, but we want to find out why.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
we spend so much time.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why did this happen to happen?
Yeah, and I think
You know?
doing that too much, you lose sight of
Absolutely.
what you have already. Like what
Yes.
He's graced you. Because when you said that, what I thought about is, like, yeah, He took your son. He could have got him up. He also could have let that car flip and you not get out that car
Yes.
that day. You know what I'm saying? And so you
And-
don't even have this part of the story.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's not even a part of your
Right.
story. Having a son, you know, if
Also,
it
he
play out how it
could
play out.
have had this heart issue while he was driving.
Yep.
True.
He could have
It'll hurt somebody else.
hurt somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I started to think about, okay, all right, God, you know, because at the end of the day, I can't be consumed. Why? Because the truth is, for all of us, if God told us why, we wouldn't think it'd be good enough reason.
Right. That'll never be good
You
enough.
know,
Probably make
have
it more mad.
Yes,
Probably make
yes.
it more mad.
That's why he won't share
Yeah,
with us
yeah.
or tell us why, because people say, well,
Trying
you
to roll
know,
with everything.
no, I don't know why, and we won't ever find that until we get the glory and he reveals it.
I don't even want to know
But-
that.
but-
You don't
but-
be thinking about that.
Well,
but
our
when-
mindset will be different too once we see him.
man.
But when you look at all the great dudes that we read about in the Bible, they all had moments.
Yes.
Like they all had
Yes.
moments. But we don't teach or preach from those moments.
Yeah, I
we
was
focus
just
on the
saying that.
glorious side.
Yeah.
I was just saying that.
What's the dude name? Elijah. When he was
Yes.
running after he had just, caused the fire to come down, kill the prophets of Baal.
Yeah.
He running for his life from Jezebel, get to a spot and say, God, kill me already.
Remember that story?
Yeah.
I don't remember that story.
Yeah.
Who just,
Yeah, I don't remember that story.
that's a prophet in the Bible.
Yeah.
All
All up in the cave. Yeah.
He performed a miracle,
Preach
and
the
then
talk.
the next day he running for his life,
Yeah.
find himself hidden in the cave somewhere, and told God, "Hey, kill me. All right, I'm done. I'm done with all that."
Right.
But like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane.
There we go. I know him.
You know, you know that story.
I know him.
I love it.
Yeah, I know him.
Yes.
Jesus tripping. He like, listen,
Yeah,
if
take the
it
cup.
be possible,
Yeah.
let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless,
That was his
but
humanity.
we focus on the nevertheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Sweating
Agonizing.
Blood.
like blood.
Blood.
Like this man is dealing with stuff, and we don't talk about the people that's dealing with stuff because we shout, dance, and all that. No, cuz stop shouting, sit down, stop the music.
Facts.
Everybody sit down. All of y'all dealing with stuff. Now let's deal with it. Let's deal with it.
Job, a lot of people, what they miss about the story of Job had questions for God.
He sure did.
And he's starting to ask these in chapter 7. Job doesn't hear anything until chapter 38. You know?
That's a problem.
I do remember
in
that.
itself.
Yeah. God doesn't
You ignore me? You
respond
ignore me?
until,
What?
David said, "How long are you gonna hide your face from me?"
yes.
Like,
Because God doesn't respond until he's ready to respond. It don't matter if we kicking and screaming.
Facts.
He doesn't respond until he's ready to respond. No matter, we can't make God do anything.
Right.
but
Yeah.
that's not what we teach them though.
Right.
We
right.
teach them that if you can just fast long enough and pray long enough and have enough faith, then you can make God do what you
Yeah.
Come
want
on, man.
him to do.
Yes.
Send y'all donations to Bama Studio.
Yeah.
I'll make sure they get it.
So
what
we
they need.
teaching them that they can make
Yeah.
God do it. That, like you said, sound doctrine. We ain't teaching them the flip side.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, man, God, you ain't God, and He
Yeah.
don't conform to you. He's God. You conform to His will.
I said this today, in the sermon today.
Talk about-
I said
about-
there's
yeah.
people that now they have become so righteous, so religious that they go around and they be like, you ask them how they doing, and they like, too blessed to be stressed, highly favored, and they go down this whole list and everything, and their nose is running. You say, you got a cold, and they say, no, I ain't got
I ain't
no cold.
speaking that.
I ain't
I ain't
claiming that.
speaking
I ain't claiming that. And you look at them, no, you got a cold.
I told somebody one time, man, I'm broke right now. Stop speaking that. Well, you finna give me some money then? 'Cause it's the truth.
And it's the truth. And then I tell people like this: unless I've been broke, how would I know he's a provider?
No doubt.
Unless I've been sick, how would I
Well,
know
that's a
he's
word.
a
That's a word. That's a word.
Say that again.
Because we that church talk. I used to understand back in the older days with the senior saints and the older saints say a mind regulator.
Mm-hmm.
But now I understand because with all the craziness and drama and chaos that has happened in our lives,
Right.
we should be in somebody's crazy house now.
Yeah.
Facts.
In a
We
straight
should
jacket.
we a candidate for a jacket that will make you hug yourself.
Yep.
Because all that stuff we've been through, for us to sit in our right minds now, that's God. Because God, in the fact that we here right now having this conversation, He has given us some peace about some things to even be here. And that's not us.
Yeah.
I talked to my
Not at
therapist.
all.
My therapist told me, listen, you don't want to hear this. You went through a traumatic experience. Like, so what you're dealing with is trauma. That's why you want to lay in the bed all day, because you're trying to process the trauma. That's why you want to go to the alcohol, because you're trying to process the trauma.
Yeah.
That's why you're gambling, because you're trying to process the trauma.
Yeah.
And if you don't deal with the trauma, then you're going to start dealing with a bunch of other things, and it's still not going to get to the root of the issue.
Yep.
So deal with the trauma, face it head on, so that you'll be a better person down the line.
And it's traumatic.
Oh man, it's
It's
you
traumatic.
can't get the images out your head.
No.
Like I saw my wife go from the most beautiful person in any room that she walked in to looking at my wife, and I still call her the most beautiful person, but I looked at her look completely different. She's this big, and her face is changed, and all of this other stuff.
Wow.
And those images you can't get out of your brain.
Yeah.
You try to get them out. You try to pray. You try to sing. You try to fast. You try to pray. Go to church. Those images when you lay down at night, or when you rise up early in the morning, the images are there with your son. You talk about being a protector to your spouse, mug, a protector to your son, to your son, to your daughter. Like, how do you get the imagery out your head when your son is looking up to you, but you can't do nothing?
Nothing.
God cover him.
Yeah, that's it. That's
God
that's as far as you can go with it.
And we have to, you're right. The honesty that people need to see from us, because, a couple of weeks after my son passed, I was preaching. And at the end of the preaching, I actually preached his funeral. I did usually that Saturday. I preached the next day, Sunday.
Boy, you're the real deal.
So about 3 weeks, and then after I preached, I had to just tell the church, look, I'm hurting.
I was gonna say,
I'm broken.
Yeah.
Up here. I had a good friend of mine. She had seen, they watch on social media, and she had saw the Sunday before that. She had mentioned, she's like, you look different, because it does change you.
Yeah.
You're the same person, but you're not the same person. Your personality is a little different. Until last week, I would say, when I got with my fraternity brothers in Atlanta, I hadn't laughed and smiled like that in a long time, since May 6th. And so, but she said I could see something in your eyes that was different. And then that was the next week when I had to tell them, look, because people see you stand up, and they see you, and they have this expectation that you, and they think for some reason you so strong, and they have no idea. I cried every day.
The whole ride here.
To get here.
Yeah.
Just to get here to stand up. You have no idea.
But that's why a lot of people look like what they're going through in front of people, because they don't want people to look at them as though they're not going through something. And so you put the look on, because people will treat you different the moment you smile. See, he don't even love his son. He don't even love his. See, he don't moved on already. See, he don't. Cuz don't tell me like So
if you get caught up in all that stuff, you'll definitely run yourself crazy.
You'll run yourself nuts.
Yeah.
And the hard thing is hearing this, what I'm about to say. I heard a preacher say this years ago. God can't trust everybody with trouble.
Say that one more time. You
God
said with
can't
trouble?
trust everyone with trouble. And when I heard that years ago, I realized that certain things only certain people can handle.
Mhm.
Because certain things, people gonna quit.
Yeah.
Like certain people just gonna say,
Tap
"This
out.
it.
Yeah.
This, I'm gonna take myself out, or I'm gonna die a slow death."
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it was me in '96. That depression, because I had thoughts I thought I never would have.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought I was mentally tough.
Right.
I started having thoughts like, all
Me
kinds
too,
of
bro.
crazy
It'll-
thoughts.
It'll
you
do
know?
it. It'll do it.
And so I understand that part, that God selected us for that.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me say, Lord,
I ain't want that.
You gave this somebody
that's
else.
that just sending me. God just sending me right there. Like, if it's a way
Yeah.
for, that's where I can really relate to what Jesus was. If there's any way, because that's how I felt. Like, if there was any way to,
Avoid them.
that's because at the end of the day, you want to know what is going to come out of this.
Yeah.
As you said earlier, for God to get the glory and to be glorified, I think, I mean, I wrestle with that stuff, but then I have to I look now, I'm 3 months in, and I don't even know how I got to this point.
Yep.
Facts.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got to this point.
Yeah.
I literally
Then they come
take
back.
it
We working with kids.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
come on,
That's a
man.
whole nother
Yes.
story.
Yes.
Like kids that look forward to seeing us.
Yes.
Like,
And don't realize that you stand in front of them broken.
yeah.
You
No, last when I came back, I had to be honest with mine. I said, y'all see me here crying? This what it is. Like, oh, we understand.
I even told our church, like, if you see me crying, just let me cry.
Yeah.
Like, in that moment, because I'd never really been a crier until
Yeah,
Michelle
yeah.
got sick. Now I cry every week.
Oh yeah.
I ain't never cried.
It'll change,
None
man.
of them ever seen me
It'll
cry.
change
It ain't
you,
a
boy.
week that went
Nobody
by.
ever seen me cry. Man,
No.
Michelle got sick. Man, I cry every week. So my whole thing is, just let me have my moment. I don't need everybody hovering over me.
Yeah.
Don't go to rubbing on my back. Don't fan me. Just let me have my moment.
Don't do the church thing.
No,
Yeah.
just give me my moment. And then what I appreciate is after the fact, when you get the bros to hit you up. Like, because, we've been trained, like, men, we just, But when you get a brother hit you up, not on the soft tip, but on the, hey, bro, I'm checking on you.
Yeah.
How you doing?
That means a lot.
Man, that means
a lot.
everything.
Yeah.
And especially when
a
they
lot.
know not to hit you up every day. No, don't be texting me every day, call me every day.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you'll get a phone call. This man FaceTime. This man FaceTime the other day
Yeah.
with music in the background, just dancing and all that. But every once in a while, you get it, and I really believe it's God's gentle reminders to us that He's thinking about us.
Oh, yeah.
You know why I do that, though?
agree that.
Like FaceTime you instead of call you. Like I got to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you can tell me like, man, I'm good, I'm straight. Like, and that be it.
Yeah.
Until I see your face, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, all right,
It's
yeah,
different.
All right,
you
you're
straight.
straight.
Yeah, you straight.
You're straight. If not, I'm gonna have to pull up on you.
Simple as that.
So sometimes we have those ambushes of grief, like something that bring it back to you, and you just go, and people don't see that part. I was 2 weeks ago on the pre-planning time. I went and grabbed something at Waffle House. The waitress was a former student, so she said, "Hey."
She asked
Coach,
about him.
She was like, "I want to offer my condolences," and I'm fine with that. That doesn't bother me. Fine. At the end, I'm ready to leave. I'm waiting. Can I get my check? So she comes by and said, "Hey, Coach, today your meal is on me."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh man, you didn't have to do that." But that's her way of.
Yeah.
So I was fine until I walked out and got in my car. Then
Yeah.
Break down.
just broke
Floodgates.
down,
Yeah.
like,
Floodgates.
because the fact that she did it, but it brought back why she did it.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, like
Triggers
those
everywhere.
It's triggers everywhere, and those moments there people don't see.
Yeah.
When you have those, as I call them, ambush of grief, like just unexpected, something brings you back. As they say in the grief groups, some smell, some restaurant you go to.
Oh man, I didn't know that was so real. Like I can find myself going to a restaurant or run down the street, and then with the first year or so, you're dealing with first. The first time doing this without them, first time doing that without, and every little thing just trigger you and make you cry. And then on top of that, having to manage other people's emotions, like
that's true.
Their expectation of you. Okay, Pastor. Okay, you still crying? You still dealing with it? When you gon' let people grieve and leave them alone.
Grieve differently.
But I think all of us can agree, us going through this week, it makes us better people in how we empathize with others.
Oh,
Absolutely. It makes us like, a cat can tell me, hey, Pastor, I need to take 3 weeks off from church. I'm going to say, go. Leave. Leave. Because
what you need to do, bro.
Mentally. Do what you got to do to make sure you remain sane mentally. Life will tear you apart if you let it.
Absolutely.
If you let it. And so when I think of community, brotherhood, our job is to make sure life don't tear them apart.
Right.
It's tearing them apart. It's rocking them right now. Yeah. And I gotta give them a space to let them figure out how to fight. But every once in a while, I'm gonna FaceTime. Let me see your face. All right, you good? He ain't kicking your butt too much. All right, going back and keep fighting.
Yeah.
But know you got somebody in your corner right here that's willing to allow you your space to go ahead and breathe and do your thing. Yeah. And then when you come back, what did Jesus tell Peter? He says, when you come back, strengthen your brothers.
Strengthen your brothers.
Strengthen your brothers.
When you fail, but when you come back, strengthen your brothers.
Yeah, strengthen your brothers. He told Peter, like, you finna get jacked up. You finna get all messed up. But you gonna come back.
You gonna come back.
When you come back, strengthen your brothers. Same thing with Philo. Philo bouncing back through his thing. I'm going through my thing. Philo, strengthen Jermaine.
Absolutely.
I think, I could just attest to that. Just life in general, man. Just dealing with, I guess you can kind of say like I'm on like the younger side to it. Just reaching back with brothers who's finally going through something. And man, one thing I'm learning is that we know how to, we don't know how to survive. They say what it is for weeping may endure through the night, but joy come in the morning. But majority, like just the people I came in contact with recently, they don't make it to the morning. Like
long night.
Yeah, long night. Like they don't make it to the morning, and just to, like you say, just to take what we've been through, and just to be able to just shine light every
what you going through.
Yeah, every so what I'm going through. Yeah,
and it's I felt bad initially about where my mindset was in terms of not allowing people to be so heavy leaning towards expectancy, right? And so I'm on the reverend side now. I was before, but it's like extreme reverence now, and there's a sense of humility as well as like just understanding, like, God, I don't know your plan for my life, so I have to be okay with however you decide to maneuver through this thing. And I felt bad initially for shutting down people when they were like, no, you like expect certain things. Like God wants you to be happy. Like God wants you to have an abundance of like, or you know what I'm saying? Like I had a guy tell me my son wasn't supposed to be sick. Like that ain't how God designed it. And I'm just like, he was just born. Like, what did my son do? Like, he did something in the womb or something? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't go to the phone. Like,
Jesus, when he was walking through the city with the disciples, they said he came across somebody that I think was blind from birth. And the disciples asked Jesus,
what did mama do?
Did mama say, daddy said? Jesus said, ain't none of that. This happened so that my Father might get glorified. Like we say some of the most insensitive stuff, bro. Like some of the most insensitive stuff. I already know you wanted to fight when you heard that.
What?
I know you wanted to fight.
Immediately, bro. Immediately. And so that's why I said at first I was like, it was a light love tap, like, hey, this might not go your way. Now it's like, hey man, you should probably think about that differently. And I'm sure they like, you only saying that because you lost your dad, you lost your son. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your story, bro. Like, no, like, I'm watching how God like deal with people and deal with certain things a certain way that it don't be normal to us. Like we can't understand like why he do what he do.
We think when we plan for the worst, that we lack faith.
Yeah. That's the misconception.
And that's a major misconception.
Yeah.
Like, so if that's the case, don't get life insurance. Don't get life insurance.
Don't put your seatbelt on.
Yeah, don't put your seatbelt on.
Don't put your hands on the wheel.
Like, I still got faith.
Yeah.
And I still believe God is able. I just know I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna rock with whatever he decide, but I'm gonna make preparations as a result. You know, one of the things that I do wish Michelle and I did more, the last 6 months or so, was I wish we thought more together about the potential loss that was going to eventually happen. Like,
For the sake of everything.
For the sake of everything.
Okay.
Everything.
I'm thinking of the kids.
Like, I think if we would have thought, all right, chances are, like, we're believing, but with this, they said, 6 months at the max. We dismissed the 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, like, had we not dismissed the 6 months, like, we rocked out to the end, but we would have rocked out more. I would have took a leave of absence from church, work, everything.
Right. Spent all that time.
All of it.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to the beach, but I think when you dismiss, what could be a potential reality, I think you miss potential time, meaningful time that you can spend doing certain things.
True.
I have 2 women at church who lost their sons, and I did their eulogies years ago, and did one about a year ago. But now, they text me weekly, because they've been through it.
Yep.
And they know, and it's like what you said. It don't have to be every day, but they check on you, saying, hey, because they know what that is like, especially, the time when the crowds leave.
So they're gonna leave.
They gonna leave, and it's just, I tell people, one of the worst moments is you and your thoughts. just you and your thoughts.
Yep.
It's just it will wear you out, and just knowing that. What I had to do was I had to back away from social media. I was late to social media. I didn't get on until a few years ago, and then I had to back off because everybody's life kept going. Like, our life stopped.
Yeah.
And everybody kept going. People were going on trips. People were
That's a good point.
getting their kids from college, and people were now they going to college, and they're taking college, and it's just like, oh my goodness, packing up my son's apartment. And let me tell you, when I was on the phone with you, I was outside his apartment standing in the grass because that's what my wife wanted to do. She and I saw her, and I realized that's gonna be something she wants to do. And I really didn't. I helped just load it in the car, but she kind of did. That was good for her. That was therapy. There you go, therapy. But I was on the phone with you most of the time but just that was too much for me.
Yeah, man.
Like, and then we had to ship his car on a trailer to ship it back to Orlando. And so a couple weeks ago, my wife and daughter, we said today we driving separate because they wanted to go to the mall or something, and so they left before me. So they're gone. So I come out the house, and my wife's car there, my daughter's car there. I'm like, shoot, where they at? So I start walking around, looking down the street, like, they couldn't have took a walk. Did somebody pick them up? And so I'm seeing and not seeing it. So now I'm starting to panic. Yeah. Because, back in my mind, it's almost, you start thinking that now, you always thinking something's going to go wrong now. Like, you thinking like bad stuff is going to just continue to happen. So I'm panicking like, okay, where, especially since I had those things back to back with my son and my returning brother, my line brother, that was just too much. And so I'm thinking like, oh shoot, And I'm calling them. Of course, they're not answering the phone.
Oh.
You know, so that's just amping me up.
Yeah.
You know, and this is before I gotta get ready to go to church.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to get in my car to go to church, and I can't go because I don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out of my mind, like panicking. And they finally, I call them again. They answer the phone, and I'm like, "Where are y'all?" You know, and they go, "We're on our way to church." I said, "How?" They said, "We driving Cleo's car."
Oh.
But I'm not
You ain't
used to his
thinking-
car being there.
Yeah.
His car has been with him in Baton Rouge.
Sheesh.
And I'm just like, oh, shoot.
I didn't even.
You know, just your mind. And I
Yeah.
tell people now, because everybody used to talk about, man, how can you remember people's names? You met them one time for a second. You so good. You remember. Grief does something to your mind. Because I think you're so consumed with grief that you only have a capacity for so much information.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have people say, "You remember your?"
Try to remember.
No, I can't remember. It's like grief has taken so much of your mind and your mental capacity that you only have so much for so much information.
Wow.
And that was just a good glimpse of just like I couldn't even think that they in his car, because my mind wouldn't even let me think that.
Wow.
You know, and so it is going to be a long process.
Yeah.
And you're a year in. It's just good for me to be here to hear you sit here and say, and you're a year in. You know, because man,
This time last year was crazy.
yeah.
This time last year I'm in the bed, I'm crying. To look back on where I am now.
Yeah.
You said something a second ago that I want to say. You said you got to get off social media because you watch everybody continue to
Celebrate
life.
You know that. Yeah.
And I realized how mad I used to get. I never told nobody this.
Yeah.
I would see people say, happy anniversary, and it triggered something.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
Yeah.
so God, you really finna let these two stay married? They don't even like each other. They don't even like each other.
That's
Oh, so
in the
you finna
same
bless
room.
them with
Yeah.
more kids? They don't take care of the ones that they
man.
got.
Yeah.
And you took.
Yeah.
I know you done had them
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah.
I
I
know you had
had
them
old
thoughts.
woman all the time. I mean, just man, like I said, she can't walk. So you know what I'm saying. I get on social media and I see somebody
Taking their first step.
they taking their first steps at 9 months. Like you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that hit different. Like
Well, what? That's what I'm saying.
Like,
It makes
yeah.
you appreciate the very little, like all the small details that
Yeah.
you probably never would have thought about. And that's one thing I'm grateful for my situation and why I had to go through it like that. Like I'm able to take a bad thing and still see like there's some good in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
yeah.
And I'm finna peel back the layers to try to
find
find it. Yeah, because it could be worse.
I found it with my brother. I was at ease with my brother because,
Yeah.
shoot, the result, one of the good things that came out of it was, and it took me years to even talk like that because I felt so guilty.
Wow.
Like, that actually turned my life around.
Yeah.
You know, that event, because right now, all I know is God.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing else.
Yeah.
And so, but then God was drawing me to him, and I was in so much grief that I was running from God, and then I ran into God. You know, so,
I done heard that
so
before.
I was on the run.
Yeah.
And ran right into him, and
Yeah.
but this is different. But I could see years later that my life changed as a result of that. And it took me years for even to mention it out of my mouth because I felt bad. Like it took my brother's death to get me from where I was, but God used that.
Yeah.
No, he's the only one that can bring good out of a bad situation.
True.
And these are some bad situations.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see any good out of it. I was able to see that part. But then I look at my niece, who's now like 20, and grew up without her dad. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
I dealt with something similar. They call it survivor's remorse.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Michelle and I,
She's still here.
we had just sold our house and we had brought this new house because Michelle loved to entertain. They brought this beautiful 2-story home for the sake of entertaining people. And one day we had a party over there thing for my birthday, and everyone was there, and I went up to the room and just started crying because I knew Michelle lived for these moments, and it's like, so now we got the big house, and you ain't here to share in the moment with, and then I remember going on the date. When you go on a date, you feel like you're cheating, Then you feel like everybody looking at you crazy, and then people come, hey, pastor, but they see somebody else standing here next to you. So now you feel like people looking at you sideways.
Because they always gonna think it's too soon.
Yeah, everybody gonna think it's too soon, and so it's like
every 5 years they think it's too soon.
So they call it survivors. Like you mad or sad that you still here and they gone. And it took one of her friends telling me, her best friend Tina Trott, saying, where Michelle is right now, that little house y'all got don't compare.
Right, that's good.
Her being in the presence of Jesus has nothing in comparison to y'all having a little party at the house. So you got to stop beating yourself down over thinking about if Michelle was here. She's like, just find peace with the fact that she's with Jesus. Stop beating yourself up. And then she said, and go live. Like when she told me that, I'm like,
major thing.
She said, go live. And I'm like, this is her best friend. She's like, you got to go live.
That's a word. Because at the end of the day, when you grieving like this, there's a certain desire for you to want to be where they at.
Now, don't nobody talk about it, but that's the truth.
Like you like, shoot, if I go today, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then that go live part comes back to you like, I still got a daughter and wife to live for. You got your kid. So when our mind goes like Paul, you got that longing to be there now. You like, oh my gosh, I want to go.
Keeping it all the way 100, I'm struggling with that part because we're at the point now where like the divorce will be final soon, and so when I think about him dying and then her still here, like, oh, we're gonna do this in remembrance of him. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna keep it pushing. Like, and people are telling us like, y'all, God gonna bless y'all with another child. I hear you. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like there's still purpose because we're still here. And so if whatever that takes, like, let's just go for it and make it happen. And then when she just kind of fell off, the past 3-4 weeks, I've struggled back and forth with like, bro, like, what else am I supposed to be doing?
I done tried it. If you take me, I'm straight.
Yes.
And I got 2 little kids. Look, I got the life insurance policies in place. I got who they gonna go with in place. I got all of that stuff laid out. And I'm just like, so there's a part of me with that. Then there's a part of me that always hears, go live. Go live. But when you wrestling with it, for me, the times are at night. Took the shower, go to lay down in bed, ain't nobody around but you. And then when you first wake up in the morning, and you wrestle with it, and I'm like you sometimes, like I've had it, bro. Like, man, I can leave here tonight and be fine. You know.
And as much as I be trying to avoid being around people, it's still like at the same time I need to be.
Got to.
Yeah, I need to be around.
You don't
want
to be so isolated.
No. I can't. I literally can't.
Right.
And young people make you live. In y'all profession, my profession too. I'm at Edgewater every day. Like they make you live. Like they force you to be on your toes. You got to learn the language and learn the new style and all that other. Like so they make you. They force you to live. And so my kids, when I look at my kids, they make me live. But they're the greatest source of my grief because when I see them, I see Michelle. Like when I look at them, sometimes I promise on everything. I look at my little daughter sometimes, I just be staring at her. And she probably thinking daddy weird. I just be staring at her like you remind me of Michelle, but it make me want to go upstairs and cry though. Like y'all go next door to grandma.
I'm like that with his daughter. I can, and I told his wife, I can sit here and just watch her.
Just look. But they're the greatest source of my grief, but they're my greatest motivation. So when I look at them, they motivate me to get out the bed and go to work and to keep persevering, because what happens if something happened to daddy? Like what happens to their life? 20 years from now, like your niece, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
So just wrestling with all of that, I think we need outlets.
Yeah.
We need outlets. And if we don't have outlets, we drive ourselves crazy. Not just the preacher.
Right,
I'm talking about the average Joe. Anybody.
Yeah.
You'll drive yourself crazy, which is why a platform like this is so darn important.
Well, I want to go to something you mentioned.
We getting ready to close, y'all.
Okay, when you said
Preacher's edition.
when you said the life insurance, the Monday before he passed, Thursday. So it's 2 times I've sat down with Khalil and went over with him
Y'all policy.
what happens if something happens to us.
Oh man.
And I did it the Monday. That was the second time the Monday. He's at a baseball game at LSU watching baseball with his friend. And I'm calling and saying, listen, let's go over this again. Here's the policy.
Oh man.
Go down to the county. We got the 403B. We got the insurance policy with the county too. We got, I text him the insurance policy. Now, the crazy thing about me texting him the insurance policy was when we had to go to Baton Rouge, I had it in my phone
You had the text in your phone?
because I sent it to him that Monday.
Yeah.
So I had the account number and everything.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's just
Jesus.
because those child riders or whatever, but that Monday, I'm going over him like because I started thinking like this, like, okay, me and his mom, we're together so much,
Yeah.
that if something happened to us together,
They'd probably be together.
yeah, as a possibility that could happen. And oh my goodness, I drove the point home. Take care of your sister. Now she's a senior in high school. I'm like, look, if here's what you're gonna have to do. If something happens to us within the next year, you got to come back to Orlando and let her graduate high school and try to go online, and then you can go back. And I told him, y'all got to decide what you're gonna do with the house. Y'all keep it, great. You split. You got to split it between you and sister. Take care of your sister. Take care of your sister. Take care of your sister. That was Monday.
Then he passed on the Thursday.
He passed Thursday. 3 days.
When we had that conversation, jeez, bro. Yeah, man. Listen, y'all. I'll say this, like, this outlet can go way further than this YouTube. Y'all need to make sure y'all are surrounded by some people you can be open and honest with, like completely honest with about just what you're dealing with, what you're feeling, how you're feeling, whenever you're feeling it. You gotta have an outlet, man. Be sure to follow us, the outlet 0721. These gentlemen are local. I'm sure, regardless of what we've all been through, and like you were saying earlier, being at that hospital and still God using you to share your faith with people. Like he don't give us too much time off when we want to just mope and beat ourselves. The same thing happened to me in the hospital when we were there, and it's just like I think God just has made us capable to be able to still share our faith with people in the midst of going through it. It probably is more impactful, in that moment, because it gives them the hope, like, oh snap, he done went through this, or he's, in your case, he's going through this, and is still making the effort to, pour into me or encourage me. Like, it go a long way. So I mean, I'll put y'all social medias or whatever, no doubt, under the video, man. Y'all need to reach out to anybody for anything. We said we're gonna start a anonymous kind of the outlet letter type deal, so we can read y'all stuff anonymously and offer our feedback however we can. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. Jermaine, thank you for stopping by. Simmons, thank you for stopping by. Boy B Holmes, your boy Phil in the building, the outlet. Yeah.
This your girl Tori with The Outlet. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.